Welcome to the City of Middletown Planning Board meeting for the month of July. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A quick bit of housekeeping for our transcriptionist. All members are present. Mr. Adkins, our fire inspector, is absent this evening. Mr. Zarowski, our engineer, is present, and Mr. Krogan, our attorney, is is present. On to the agenda. Approval of June 1st, 2022 minutes. We're going to hold off on that. I guess they weren't included in everyone's packet, so we are not going to vote on those this evening. Next month, we'll take care of that. Next on the agenda is 36 to 60 Industrial Drive, LLC, 36 to 60 Industrial, actually Place, 6-month extension request. We have received a letter from 36 to 60 Industrial Drive, LLC. The address is 36 to 60 Industrial Place, Middletown, New York, Section 5, Block 1, Lot 4.1. We received an approval for 6 months. We hereby request that we receive an additional 6-month extension. Are you here on behalf of them, Mr. Winglowitz?
Yes. Good evening, Ross Winglowitz, Engineering and Surveying Properties. Yeah, we were here before the board in December, received approval. They have been marketing the property and request the extension. We'll be here before you later this evening on an application for a change of use on that same property.
All right, so we need a motion to accept the extension. Mr. Brito, second. Ms. Witt, discussion, roll call. Mr. Madden?
Yes.
Mr. Numcheck?
Yes.
Mr. Brito?
Yes.
Ms. Witt?
Yes.
Ms. Houston?
Yes.
And Mr. Higbee?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if you can just explain to the applicant about the 6 months, and if nothing further happens, he needs to come back.
Sure. Part of the city code requires pursuant to the City of Middletown Code, Chapter 475, Article 4, Administration and Enforcement, Section 475-53, Paragraph E, Subparagraph 6. Unless work is commenced and diligently prosecuted within 6 months and completed within 2 years of the date of the granting of the special use permit, such special use permit shall be null and void. So we need to hear from you every 6 months if you plan on extending.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, Southgate 1 LLC, 14 to 24 Ulick Road, 10 residential units.
We have the mailings.
Have to ask them. Also, a little bit of housekeeping this evening, just so everyone knows. I have to point out to all first-time applicants and appearances that this is considered your preliminary hearing, and the planning board may or may not choose to act or vote on those applications tonight.
Always having technical difficulty with the stand.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, board professionals. My name is Nikki Laludis. I'm with Bowman Consulting, Cedar Knolls, New Jersey. We were here before the board last time, I think it was last month, regarding this application for an amended site plan approval for a proposed 10-unit residential townhome to be constructed at the existing Southgate at Middletown site. Just as a summary, I don't know if you need me to go through the entire proposal once more, or just like me to hit the highlights.
You need to briefly describe what you're doing for the board, and of course,
Certainly.
the public is here this evening, so.
Very good. As we mentioned last time, the site is approximately 74 acres in size, located in Middletown, south of Route 108 and east of Route 49. The property is just west of the Sterling Park development and accessed by Schindler Court. This application that we're looking for the 10-unit townhome will require a waiver for commercial use on the first floor, as was previously granted for the original development. The proposed 10-unit townhouse is to be located immediately west of the property line along Schindler Court. The area is currently paved and striped for approximately 24 parking spaces, but this parking was not counted towards the original requirement for compliance in the original site plan approval for the project. The original project consisted of 21 separate buildings, 9 of them along the southern portion of the site, 12 along the northern, connected by Meadows Road. There's also an existing clubhouse for residents on the northern portion. There are 2 different types of buildings on the site. There's one which is a 19-unit building with 14 garages, and what we're looking to build is the 10-unit building, which has 8 garages. Each garage has a second parking space in the driveway. So this unit, this building, will actually have 16 garage and driveway spaces. And the parking requirements are 1.75 parking spaces for each 1-bedroom and 2 parking spaces for each 2-bedroom unit. Currently, we have 309 units, 597 spaces that were approved. We built 607 spaces in the original project. The 10 extra spaces were kind of dedicated to the clubhouse. The new building will have 6 2-bedroom units and 4 1-bedroom units. Again, they have 8 garages for 16 parking spaces, plus what we did differently from last month. If you recall, we had provided for 4 parking spaces along the side here. We have since listened to some of the concerns of the board and have added an additional 2 parking spaces to the west of the building, just west of some equipment that's there currently, gas meter, generator, pump station. So now the total required for the 6 2-bedroom units and the 4 1-bedroom units is 19, and we're providing 22 parking spaces in total. In addition to the parking lot to the side will have some granite block curb and flush curb in the back, which will allow drainage to run off into what is a wetlands area. You'll note that there's a dashed line along the rear. That is a federally regulated wetland, which we are not proposing to disturb. The only thing we will be modifying is a drainage pipe that comes from this existing, I don't want to call it an isolated wetland, it's a depression on the other side of Schindler Road, and it currently carries water under Schindler to the wetlands. We're simply relocating that by a couple of feet to make room for the building. The site generally drains from south to north. In order to construct the building, we need to raise the grade in the back by about a foot. Again, the limit of disturbance for grading is outside of the wetlands line. There's no disturbance within the wetlands. As part of the grading, we'll also need to relocate the existing trail in the back. It's not a very clearly delineated trail. It is somewhat wooded, so there'll be some clearing there, again, outside of the wetlands. As far as stormwater management is concerned, we had provided a stormwater report to the city, and there was some questions by your engineer dated in a letter, dated May 2nd, 2022. We've since provided the engineer with that information, and we understand that, both the as-built and the other mapping that he requested were satisfactory for the project. Just to summarize, the additional impervious coverage that we're providing is 6,000 square feet, which is only 0.1% of the entire site area. So we're not increasing the peak runoff rates. We did a whole new stormwater modeling for the project. The peak runoff rates are not being affected, nor does the project affect anything downstream. As far as sanitary and water and traffic, We went through some of it last month. I know that one of the questions was whether or not seeker would have to be reopened, if that's the proper term. We since provided a memo explaining the updates to the original seeker memo. We have the volume of increase for water and sewage, which is both going to be 1,980 gallons per day for this project. We are not looking to extend any water lines or extend any sewer lines. The existing infrastructure is sufficient for the additional loading. There are no impacts on surface water, no impacts on flooding, no impacts to traffic. I believe the traffic count we were looking at was 12 extra trips for this facility, and therefore, we don't believe that seeker would need to be revisited, and I understand that we haven't received a comment letter since, but I understand from speaking to your engineer that the seeker looks fine, and, you know, I'll wait to hear from him rather than putting words in his mouth. That's really it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Tu, do we have the mailings? Yes, we do. Thank you. We're going to open the public hearing at this time. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this application, please step forward. Ms. Tu, do we have anyone on the telephone? Do we have any written comments? No, we don't. Ms. Hanson, do we have anyone online?
Not at this time.
Okay, we're going to go to the board then for any questions, comments, or concerns.
Just looking to hear from Mr. Zarowski when he has his turn.
Can I just, you have 8 units, you have 8 garages, there are 2 units without garages. Is there designated parking spots for those 2 units?
So there's 10 units, and there's 8 garages, just make that little correction. They're not designated per se, but if you would like, we can put signage for these 2 spots on the left, or maybe one sign on the left and one side on the right, because there is 1 unit on either end. I believe the applicant would be okay with that.
Is it 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom?
I believe they're 1 bedrooms.
So it would be 1.75 parking spots?
So 2 on each side
Yeah.
would have to be signed
2 on each side.
for your tenants.
We're okay with that.
Okay. Also, we have a comment from our fire inspector. Any additional fire hydrants that you're going to add to the project, he wants a 5-inch stores fitting on it.
Okay.
Can you put that into your specs, please? And also, he is expecting 2 separate permits, one for your fire alarm and one for your sprinkler system.
So noted.
And I have a question for our engineer. I see that all your comments have been addressed.
Yeah, at this time, I would say all the comments have been satisfactorily addressed.
Okay. Do I need to have a lead agency resolution for this project? Or a neg deck?
Well, the impacts of the site are minimus compared to the original seeker determination.
Okay?
If you were to open seeker, you could probably immediately make a determination. I don't know that you would need to, though.
Okay. So it sounds like we do not need lead agency and we do not need a neg deck.
That would be my opinion, correct?
That's
I
fine.
think it should be put on the record, though, that it's de minimis and that it's not necessary at this point.
I would agree. We should do that by resolution.
By written the resolution, I can do that.
Just a quick question about the parking.
8 units that have garages, it's 16 spots. And then you have 4 extra spots for the end units that don't have parking. That gives you 20. And you said you have 24. So basically, it leaves you with 4 visitor spots?
That is correct. I have 4 spots on one side, 2 on the other, that's 6, and another 16 is 22. So the remainder would be visitor spots, yes.
Okay, and do you feel that 4 spots on 10 units is sufficient for visitor? Because your other places for visitor parking is very far from there, right?
It
It would
is.
only be 2 visitor spots.
Well, I think it'd be 4, because she said 20.
There's
16
4.
and 6 is 22.
2 of them will be for the end units.
Right,
so
don't
there
forget,
will
we're
only
gonna
be 2 extra.
designate 2 and 2 for the tenants.
Right, but she said 24 spots total she has.
I'm sorry, 22.
22,
Total.
okay. So you feel that 2 visitor spots are sufficient for 10 units?
I do. I mean, if we were to look for more parking,
I mean, I don't,
you
I
know,
know
we're
it's.
going further down the road, I think it's sufficient.
I mean, by the code, they meet.
Yeah, exactly.
They meet the requirements.
And we count the garage as a parking spot in our code, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, because it's going to be a driveway and a parking and a garage. So there's
Yeah,
two-
and we count the garage spot as a
a
spot in
garage
our
spot as
code,
a
right?
spot.
Yes.
Yes.
And in this project, when it was approved originally, also
Yeah.
counted the garages as parking spots too.
Gotcha,
Yeah, we
gotcha.
double checked that before we went any further.
I was just more pointing it out for you, because to me, you know, I know that our code is fine, but to me, that's not sufficient for, you know, if people have company or something, you can't use your neighbor's driveway as a spot.
You can park on the street.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, what happens is if I were to push this parking further back, I'm into the wetlands.
gotcha.
And then the same on this side, I have another wetlands line, and I also have equipment that's in the way. So I'd have to really go much further down the road for more parking, and it would just be, you know, some random spots in the middle there.
If there is extra park, is there parking on the street, or are there fire lanes that they can't park in on the street?
I don't believe you can park in the street, but I don't think there is a fire lane. There's nothing striped.
So is that something that needs to be decided, or, I mean, to make it actual spots on the street for parking? No?
No, can't do that.
I don't think the street is wide enough. You have 22 feet.
What's
Mike?
that?
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
My colleagues make some good points, Mr. Higbee and Ms. Witt, about the parking, and I understand what you're saying about the wetlands, but I have to ask, have you had a lot of your tenants complain about the existing parking situation? I don't see anybody here in the public hearing tonight, to my knowledge, but it's worth asking.
If I can direct that question to Mr. Zuckerman? If you might know.
Hi, good evening.
Better.
Wayne Zuckerman from Southgate. We've had no issues with on-site parking for the 309 units. Again, this parcel was quote-unquote an overflow should we have had a need for additional parking, as well as because we're involved with Sterling Park, but that is a separate entity in terms of the Southgate project. We've had issues on this particular piece with, I'll say, undesirable entertainment and things like that going on, which is the reason we said, let's utilize it for another residential unit. But we've had no issues on site. We could look and entertain perhaps maybe a parallel park nearby for adding a spot or two if need be.
Along the road?
Along the road. That's a possibility.
Okay. Anything would help.
Sure.
And that wouldn't interfere with parking lanes, or fire lanes, I meant to say, right? I know Mr. Atkins isn't here to answer that, but
We have no fire lanes. There are
there's
no fire
nothing
lanes.
for a fire, where would the fire trucks go then? Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
just want to make sure we have enough room for them to turn around. Okay, thank you. That's, I wanted to hear that from you. Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, the 2 units that don't have garages, is it because of grading or something, or you just marketing it without garages.
That's how all the other 10-unit buildings have been marketed. It's just the way the building is
Gotcha.
modeled.
Yeah,
Anyone else? We'll go back to the public. Anyone present wishing to speak on this application, please step forward. Ms. Hanson, anyone come back online?
Not at this time.
Okay. We'll close the public hearing. We'll move on to the board one more time for any questions, comments, concerns. Okay. And we'll try to form a resolution. On the resolution for Southgate 1 LLC, 14 to 24 Ulick Road, 10 residential units. It'll be standing as is waiver of commercial first floor as with the original approval. Since there is little or no effect to seeker, there'll be no need for a lead agency or a negative declaration. Any additional parking that can be added to the site, which may include parallel parking within the road, shall be added. Anything as far as the fire department has requested for a 5-inch stores connection on the fire hydrants, and the request for separate permits for fire alarm and sprinkler alarm systems. The project is subject to the City of Middletown DPW and the City of Middletown Fire Department inspections, approvals, and when necessary, the approval of Commissioner of Public Works. The applicant will obtain all necessary permits and follow the permitting process, codes, ordinances of the City of Middletown, the State of New York, and if applicable, the County of Orange. In addition, if throughout any of the review process, the project is deemed to require bulk requirement tables, the applicant will supply said tables through an architect or engineer licensed in the State of New York. Whereas pursuant to the City of Middletown Code, Chapter 475, Article 4, Administration and Enforcement, subparagraph 475-53, paragraph E, subparagraph 6, unless work is commenced and diligently prosecuted within 6 months and completed within 2 years of the date of the granting of the special use permit, such special use permit shall be null and void. So if you have issues where you cannot start the project within 6 months, you must send us a letter stating that so that you can extend your approval. Okay?
To the resolution, adding the 4 parking spots.
Well, I was going to add them as per the plan. Any parking will be added as per the plan, and also to include that all comments of our engineer were satisfied. I need a motion, Mr. Madden. I need a second, Mr. Numcheck. Discussion.
I was just going to put that in the form of a motion. I'm glad to hear this has full confidence of our engineer and esteemed.
So be it. Roll call. Mr. Madden.
Yes.
Mr. Numcheck.
Yes.
Mr. Brito.
Yes.
Ms. Witt.
Yes.
Ms. Houston.
Yes.
Mr. Higbee.
Yes.
And I vote yes. See the DPW.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. We'll be talking.
Next on the agenda this evening is Simply Fresh Vegan LLC, 23 to 25 North Street, Vegan Cafe.
Good evening, Chairman and the Board. My name is Taisha Bulgin, and I am part owner of the Simply Fresh Vegan LLC. This is James McKay, our contractor. And we're interested in, we have a space on North Street, and we're interested in putting a plant-based vegan cafe and juice bar in the space.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Tu, do we have the mailings?
I don't know.
Okay, then we're going to open the public hearing. Anyone present wishing to speak on this application, please step forward. Ms. Tu, do we have anyone on the telephone? Any written comments? Ms. Hanson, do we have anyone online?
Not at this time.
Okay, we'll go to the board then for questions, comments, and concerns. Ms. Houston?
I didn't get the copy of the application, but I don't think the hours of operation are on there. What are your hours?
Yeah.
Oh, they are on there? Okay, thank you.
All right, just for the record, we make sure we have it right. I have Sunday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Actually, and then that's through Thursday. Sunday through Thursday,
Yes,
10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fridays, we have 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
till 3,
And Saturday, you'll be closed. Is that
yes.
correct?
Correct.
Do you have those hours, Ms. Houston?
I do now. Thank you so much.
Friday to,
And I know you've been in contact with our fire inspector,
yes, we have.
and
The landlord is addressing the situation.
the comment was anything to be done with the sprinkler company or issues that he'll address with you before you open up,
Correct.
okay? Any cooking on premise?
Yes,
Cooking, all right. Because we'll need
Plans have to be submitted to the county.
plans to be submitted to the county of Orange for your kitchen, okay? And if you have any, if you're gonna do any cooking at all, you're gonna have to entertain the use of a commercial hood. Again, that'll be through the Middletown Fire Department, so that you guys can work in conjunction with them, all right? I think you've had that conversation already, is that correct, sir?
Yeah.
Good. Any other questions from the, Mr. Madden?
When I'm looking at your plans, is there an entrance off of North Street directly into your facility? Or, like, your entrance appears to go off to the side of the building.
Oh, it's directly off of North Street.
So what am I looking at when I see the entrance that appears on the plans in the top left corner, but it appears to be not going toward North Street?
It's an alcove directly off of North Street, so you enter into the building on the side.
And then you would make a right turn into the restaurant? So there's actually no direct entrance into the restaurant?
Not-
You'll go into the alcove and then into the restaurant?
Correct.
Now, does that alcove also access the apartments upstairs?
it's a separate,
Separate entrance,
Two separate doors?
separate doors.
Thank you.
Just so the board knows, the building department and the fire department has reviewed this application and brought forth any issues.
My apologies.
No, that's fine. No, ask the questions regardless. But I see that Ms. Houston becomes very relaxed when she knows that. Okay. We'll go back to the public hearing. Anyone present wishing to speak on this application, please step forward. Ms. Hanson, do we have anyone online?
Not at this time.
Okay, fantastic. Back to the, we'll close the public hearing, and we'll go back to the board one more time for any comments, questions, or concerns. In this resolution, you'll hear me state something about the Architectural Review Board, waste collection, and waiving of parking. That's because you are in the DMU zone, and any signage you do on the outside of your building, any facade work you do on the outside of your building, you must go to the Architectural Review Board to have it approved, okay? And parking is just waived because we know you have no parking on your property.
Are you planning on serving alcohol?
no.
And you do realize that at any time, if you do, you'll have to come back. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, on the resolution for Simply Fresh Vegan LLC, 23 to 25 North Street, Vegan Cafe. Hours of operation will be Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., Fridays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday, you'll be closed.
Sorry,
One amendment,
One amendment? Sure, go ahead.
Sundays at 11 to 8, Monday
through Thursday, 10 to 8, as opposed to 9.
And Friday, 10 to 3:30.
And Fridays, 10 to 3:30s.
Leave Friday 10 to 4.
Oh, just.
If you happen to have more hours,
Yes.
don't panic. That's fine. No. You're better off. This way, if you change your mind, you don't have to come back, all right?
Okay.
So if I left it at Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., would that be okay?
Right.
Okay. And then Fridays would be 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. still, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna leave it as that, and Saturday you'll be closed. Okay.
That's correct.
Eating and drinking establishment, you'll have to go to the county to review your kitchen plans. And of course, anything to do with cooking as far as commercial hoods or ventilation will be done through the Middletown Fire Department. Your occupancy of the cafe will also be determined by the Middletown Fire Department, okay? And of course, you're always subject to the City of Middletown DPW and the City of Middletown Fire Department inspections, approvals, and when necessary, approval of Commissioner of Public Works. The applicant will obtain all necessary permits and follow the permitting process, codes, and ordinances of the City of Middletown, the State of New York, and the county where applicable. In addition, if throughout any of the review process, the project is deemed to require bulk requirement tables, the applicant will supply said tables through an architect or engineer licensed in the State of New York. Since you are in the DMU zone, you will have to go to the Architectural Review Board for any facade or signage. And whereas you are located in the DMU zone, applicants must submit and receive approval from Department of Public Works according to Chapter 407, Solid Waste, Article 2, Collection, Subparagraph 407-3, Collection, and comply with this section and any other sections enacted by the Common Council from this date forward. Also, we'll waive parking because you are in the DMU zone. Pursuant to the City of Middletown Code, Chapter 475, Article 4, Administration and Enforcement, Section 475-53, Paragraph E, Subparagraph 6. Unless work is commenced and diligently prosecuted within 6 months and completed within 2 years of the date of this granting of this special use permit, such special use permit shall be null and void. As we try to explain, if you do not start your project within 6 months, you must send us an extension letter.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
I need a motion. Ms. Houston, second. Ms. Witt. Discussion. Roll call. Mr. Madden.
Yes.
Mr. Numcheck.
Yes.
Mr. Brito.
Yes.
Ms. Witt.
Yes.
Ms. Houston.
Yes.
Mr. Higbee.
Yes.
And I vote yes. See the DPW.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay, next on the agenda, Stacy Fierson, 30 East Main Street, Delhi. How you doing this evening?
Good evening.
State your name for the record and your intentions.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Stacy Frierson, and presently we're operating as a convenience store. We're asking that deli be added to our convenience store.
Okay. Ms. Tu, do we have the mailings? Okay. In that case, we will open the public hearing. Anyone present wishing to speak on this application, please step forward. Ms. Tu, do we have anyone on the telephone? Do we have anybody in writing? Ms. Hanson, anyone online?
Not at this time.
We'll go to the board then for any questions, comments, or concerns.
Are you planning on doing any cooking there?
We eventually decided to do our hot sandwiches, so we know we have to get a ventless system, because we're not going to get a big hood to do any serious cooking. But we do need a ventless system to be able to do the deli sandwiches, as far as the hot sandwiches or whatever, but we're not doing anything else.
Just remember that the Middletown Fire Department will determine that.
Yes.
No matter what you plan on doing, he'll have the call on what type of ventilation and/or hood system you'll be required to use.
Yes, we've
Okay?
spoken to him, yes.
All right, yeah, I know he's met with you, just want to make sure
Yes.
we make it clear to everyone in the room, that's all. And I'm sorry, somewhere along the line, I don't have the hours of operation. Do you have them?
You're saying your hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.?
Yes,
Is that the same hours that you have now?
yes,
It is, so there's no change?
No.
And that's Monday through Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Monday to Sunday, yes,
So it's 7 days a week?
yes.
So that's daily, and what's the hours again, please, John?
6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Correct.
daily. Thank you. Any other board members have any questions, comments, or concerns?
You don't plan on serving alcohol, right?
No.
Okay, thank you.
And if you plan on it, you'll have to come back before the board if you decide to do that. Yes, DMU, yes.
Excuse
You're
me,
going to be
Chairman.
selling alcohol, or?
The beer license, we'll be applying for the beer license in a little while. We have to come back for the beer license, or is it alcohol entirely?
Yes, we'll have to be notified of that.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Did you put in your application to the SLA?
Yes, we have to, yeah, we'll just put it in.
They probably need our approval first, right? Yeah.
They're running about 24 to 26 weeks behind.
Yeah.
Any other board members? I'll go back to the public. Anyone here wishing to speak on this application, please step forward. Anyone online, Ms. Hanson?
Not at this time.
Okay. I'll close the public hearing. Go back to the board one more time for question, comments, or concerns.
Do they have to submit a sanitation plan, being that they're existing already?
Yes. Only because I'm not sure when they first started, but whenever this law was enacted and they're here now for an application, I would say yes. The DPW can help you with that. It's a collection.
We do have a dumpster in the back.
Okay, you'll just have to report that to the DPW. There's forms for that
Okay.
to fill out, and it's a fairly new procedure, yes. All right, where did I leave off? Close public hearing. Board members, anything else? No, okay. On the resolution for Stacy Fearson, did that one. Stacy Fearson, 30 East Main Street, Delhi, and now eating establishment also. Hours of operation will be daily, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You'll be subject to DPW, City of Middletown DPW, and City of Middletown Fire Department inspections, approvals, and when necessary, approval of the Commissioner of Public Works. The applicant will obtain all necessary permits and follow the permitting process. Codes, ordinances of the City of Middletown and the State of New York, and where applicable, the County of Orange. So if you get ready to put a kitchen in, you'll have to contact the County of Orange to do so, a plan at least. In addition, if throughout any of the review process, the project is deemed to require bulk requirement tables, the applicant will supply said tables to an architect or engineer licensed in the State of New York. Whereas this application is located in a DMU zone, applicants must submit and receive approval from the Department of Public Works according to Chapter 407 Solid Waste, Article 2 Collection, Section 407-3 Collection, and comply with this section and any other sections enacted by the Common Council from this date forward. Also, because you are in the DMU, any facade work or signage work that you plan on doing, you must go before the Architectural Review Board to get permission. And of course, we will have to waive parking. All right? Also, whereas pursuant to the City of Middletown Code, Chapter 475, Article 4, Administration and Enforcement, Section 475-53, Paragraph E, Subparagraph 6, unless work is commenced and diligently prosecuted within 6 months and completed within 2 years of the date of the granting of the special use permit, such special use permit shall be null and void. As I have explained to other applicants, if you can't get started on your project in the next 6 months, you have to send us an extension letter to extend this approval, okay? Did I forget anything?
No, but I just want two things for the applicant to be clear about. Because you have a kitchen, you have to get the Orange County approval on that. So that's separate and apart from anything that this board is giving you.
Okay.
And secondly, the hood. You have to make sure that you're in compliance with Mr. Atkins before you can open.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
I can add that in there if you'd like.
Whatever the board would feel comfortable with.
I can, it's already in there by the Middletown Fire Department, but I can always just say that, of course, the fire department also will establish your occupancy and any needs you need for fire suppression or fire protection. Okay?
Yes.
All right, I need a motion. Mr. Brito, I need a second. Mr. Madden. Discussion. Roll call. Mr. Madden.
Yes.
Mr. Numcheck.
Yes.
Mr. Brito.
Yes.
Ms. Witt.
Yes.
Ms. Houston.
Yes.
Mr. Higbee.
Yes.
And I vote yes. See the DPW.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you and good luck. Next on the agenda is Walter Jacobs, 107 Academy Avenue, Smoke Shop.
Good evening.
How you doing, sir?
Walter Jacobs, owner of 107 Academy Avenue, Smoker's Corner, smoke shop. And good evening, board members.
Okay. Ms. Tu, do we have the mailings? Great. We're going to open the public hearing. Anyone here present wishing to speak on this application, please step forward. Ms. Tu, do we have anyone on the telephone? Any written comments? Ms. Hanson, anyone online?
Not at this time.
Then we'll go to the board for any question, comments, or concerns.
I see that, just for the record, your hours of operation are 8 to 8 daily.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Oh, sorry. No Sundays?
No, yeah. When
You have Monday through Saturday. Is it going to be Monday through Sunday, or?
Yeah, we had switched it when I came in for the preliminary meeting.
Okay.
Sunday,
Daily.
yes.
It's going to be daily.
Yes.
Okay.
And you're just going to be selling tobacco products or tobacco itself?
Tobacco
Cigarettes?
products, tobacco itself, yeah.
Cigarettes?
Both, yes.
The license says Nerd Life Tattoo. Are you doing tattoos or?
No, that's just the LLC name.
Gotcha.
Would you repeat that, please?
That's just the name of the LLC.
And that's why it's on the certificate and license the way it is.
Yes, sir.
Will you be,
Thank you. That's-
sorry, I didn't
No,
mean to
no, go ahead.
interrupt you.
We're just clearing that up.
Will the customers and clients be smoking inside, or they're just purchasing?
No, ma'am, just person.
Okay, thanks.
Did Theron have any comments?
No, as far as fire issues are concerned for 107 Academy, there are no fire-related issues.
Walter, any concerns?
I see on the plan you have parking.
Yes, sir.
I think they have,
Is that enough, Walter, that he has? Yeah.
yeah, they have 4 or 5 spots, plus they are supposed to be making an employee spot also, or 2 if possible.
What about handicap? Does he need a handicap spot too, Walter? I don't see it on the plan, but
He has ADA written there. It's kind of hard to follow.
I'm going to say no.
Well, that'll be part of the plan when you go to the DPW for your permits. Before you paint your lines and get everything in place, the DPW will advise you on an ADA location,
If necessary.
if necessary, correct. Okay, anybody else from the board?
What
Ms.
is
Witt?
your name going to be? What is your business name?
Smoker's Corner.
Smoker's Corner? Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go back to the public. Anyone present wishing to speak on this application, please step forward. Ms. Hanson, do we have anyone online?
Not at this time.
I'm going to close the public hearing. Go back to the board one more time. Question, comments, or concerns?
You won't be selling cannabis or marijuana?
No, sir.
Part of the resolution, I'm going to add, as per the city's Common Council's decision to opt out of the New York State offering of cannabis, that we will follow
be
those.
sold there.
Can't be sold. We will follow those rules and regulations. That's all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
And byproducts.
And byproducts, right. Well, I'm going to make it general as per the resolution that the Common Council
Okay.
passed, because it includes the state of New York wording, and we'll follow that,
Okay.
okay? Because we have nothing else to go by. All right. I closed the public hearing. We went to the board. Anybody else? No. Okay, so on the resolution for Walter Jacobs, 107 Academy Avenue, Smoke Shop. As I stated, this resolution will contain that this establishment will follow the rules of cannabis as outlined in the City of Middletown's Common Council's choice to opt out in the state of New York. Any rules or regulations set up by that, those rules will be followed by your establishment.
Yes, sir.
Okay, also, subject to the City of Middletown DPW, and before I do that, I apologize. Your hours of operation will be daily, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
And of course, you'll be subject to the City of Middletown DPW, City of Middletown Fire Department inspections, approvals, and when necessary, approval of the Commissioner of Public Works. The applicant will obtain all necessary permits and follow the permitting process, codes, and ordinances of the City of Middletown, the State of New York, and where applicable, the County of Orange. In addition, if throughout any of the review process, the project is deemed to require bulk requirement tables, the applicant will supply said tables through an architect or engineer licensed in the State of New York. You are not in the DMU zone, but whereas pursuant to the City of Middletown Code, Chapter 475, Article 4, Administration and Enforcement, Section 475-53, Paragraph E, Subparagraph 6, unless work is commenced and diligently prosecuted within 6 months and completed within 2 years of the date of the granting of the special use permit, such special use permit shall be null and void. As I explained to everybody else, so 6 months from now, if you are not underway, not up and running, you must tell us you need an extension and send a letter to the board. Okay? Which you're already up and running, so it's not a big deal. Okay. I'm going to need a motion. Ms. Hewson, second. Mr. Brito. Discussion. Roll call. Mr. Madden.
Yes.
Mr. Numcheck.
Yes.
Mr. Brito.
Yes.
Ms. Witt.
Yes.
Ms. Hewson.
Yes.
Mr. Higbee.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you. See the DPW.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda will be J. Lee, 102 to 104 North Street, first floor commercial. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Ji. I'm the owner of the building. On the first floor, we are looking to split the store. Before it was a retail store into 3 stores.
State your name again, sir, for the record.
Ji Lee.
G. Lee. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Sure.
Ms. Tu, do we have the mailings? Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. Anyone present wishing to speak on this application, please step forward. Ms. Tu, do we have anyone on the telephone? Any written responses? No. Ms. Hanson, anyone online?
Not at this time.
Okay, we'll keep the public hearing open. We'll move on to the board. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Mr. Numcheck?
So we don't know what's going to be going into these 3 sections yet, right?
That is correct.
So this is just an approval to start dividing, or
Yes.
he's going to have to come back
Correct.
every time? Okay.
For an end user, yes.
Yes.
It is, okay.
Remind me, I'll put that in the resolution.
And this is just for the first floor. What about the floors above? Are they,
We approved those
those,
already.
they're apartments? right?
Yes.
Above,
Yep.
okay.
And that will also determine what use happens on the first floor.
Right.
The only other item that I have here is that there is a rear exit. I think the DPW and the fire department have spoken to you about it. You may have to rebuild it and keep it on your property. There is an easement there, but you do have some space because I see the property line is 2 to 3 feet beyond the building line.
Yeah,
So that'll come under DPW and the fire department.
sure,
If you do not rebuild that, it may change your plans
sure.
because they have to have the proper, you have to have the proper amount of egress in order to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, I think they've explained that to you, I think, I'm not sure.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Houston?
I like the front signage and the front display. I know it still has to go in front of the Architectural Review Board, but it looks nice. But I did want to ask you, because the plans are very small to read, everything has appropriate facilities like a bathroom and
Yeah, that's right.
everything's good? Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll go back to the public. Anyone here wishing to comment on this application, please step forward. Ms. Hanson, do we have anyone online?
Not at this time.
I'm going to close the public hearing and move on to a resolution.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
although you stated it, just for the record, there is the easement there in the back, and the applicant cannot build outside of its property lines so that it would impede the ability of the easement to be used in the way it was granted.
Okay. Do I need to put that in the resolution?
You can.
Okay.
You can.
Mr. Numcheck,
Is
you have a
that in the
question?
back of the building?
The back of the
Oh, the
building.
back of the building, okay. Because I
Correct.
didn't see that on the plans that well. Walter, does this have a sprinkler system? Does it need it, or no? No, it doesn't? And then we got to waive parking too, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is in the DMU zone, so we'll follow the procedure for the DMU zone. And that's the reason why, Mr. Numcheck, I mentioned the rebuilding of the, I guess you want to call it deck or on, whatever on the back of this. It may change the egress pattern, and that's up to the applicant, and the fire department will guide him through, and then if he needs a sprinkler system, then that'd be part of it. All right, close the public hearing. To the board one more time. Okay, on the resolution, J. Lee, 102 to 104 North Street, first floor commercial. Being in the DMU zone, you will have to go to the Architectural Review Board for any facade or signage work. Its approval is only giving you approval for the division of the 3 spaces, and any end users will have to come back to the board for approval. Any methods of egress will be determined by the Middletown Fire Department and Building Department in the city of Middletown. And of course, you'll be subject to City of Middletown DPW, City of Middletown Fire Department inspections, approvals, and when necessary, the approval of the Commissioner of Public Works. The applicant will obtain all necessary permits and follow the permitting process, codes, ordinances of the City of Middletown and the State of New York, and if applicable, the County of Orange. In addition, throughout any of the review process, the project is deemed to require bulk requirement tables. The applicant will supply said tables through an architect or engineer licensed in the State of New York. Also, based in that there is an easement there, you will follow all rules and regulations of that easement and not impede that easement. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Whereas you are located in a DMU zone, applicants must submit and receive approval from the Department of Public Works according to Chapter 407 Solid Waste, Article 2 Collection, Section 407-3 Collection, and comply with this section and any other sections enacted by the Common Council from this date forward. Whereas pursuant to the City of Middletown Code, Chapter 475, Article 4, Administration and Enforcement, Section 475-53, Paragraph E, Subparagraph 6, unless work is commenced and diligently prosecuted within 6 months and completed within 2 years of the date of the granting of the special use permit, such special use permit shall be null and void. As I explained to the other applicants, if you do not proceed with work within 6 months, you must notify the board and ask for an extension for your approval. Okay? Need a motion. Mr. Brito, need a second. Mr. Numcheck. Discussion. Roll call. Mr. Madden.
Yes.
Mr. Numcheck.
Yes.
Mr. Brito.
Yes.
Ms. Witt.
Yes.
Ms. Houston.
Yes.
Mr. Higbee.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you very much. Okay. North Street. All right. According to our agenda, we're done with our voting section of the meeting. Moving on to our preliminary hearings only, not for any action, but future presentation and possible action at a date not yet determined. First up this evening will be Polycraft Industries, 36 to 60 Industrial Drive Printing Facility. I think it's Industrial Place, but that's okay. Ross cannot get that right. I do not know why.
Good evening, Ross Winglevitz with Engineering and Surveying Properties. I'm here with Project Engineer Ruben Buck from my office. We're also joined by the applicants, Ezra Leibowitz and Desley Penneth, both of Polycraft Industries. This is what I'd like to call a Middletown success story. We did a lot of work with this board last year on this property. It was primarily abandoned for many years. There's a few small businesses that are in the building. We processed an application last year for a 72,000 square foot, warehouse facility. That was approved last winter. The owners have been marketing the property. They're developers, not builders. We found, I think, a very good home, or a very good tenant for the home. Actually, Polycraft will be buying the property and building the building and occupying it themselves. So it'll be an owner-occupied building. Polycraft is a printing company. They print on plastic. They have a very successful business in Long Island, and they're looking to expand that and move that here. There'll be 100 employees approximately, over 2 shifts, a 7 to 3 and a 3 to 11, depending on demand for the product. The sole change to the site plan is the addition of an exterior piece of equipment. Part of the printing process produces volatile organics emissions, and they need to, by state code and federal code, eliminate those. Those are greenhouse gases. So that would be the sole change to the site plan, is a pad site for that. We've located it on what is the front or the industrial place side of the property, or of the proposed building. Primary reason for that is to keep it as far away from residents as possible. They're not allowed to have any odor or visible emissions at all. If they do, they have to shut down, and it's all regulated by the DEC. There'll be a DEC permit that they'll have to obtain before they go into operation for that air emissions. They have one in their current facility, and there's actually a similar air permit for the next door neighboring property. Does furniture, and part of that is painting furniture, and they have a similar permit that we would be looking for. Truck traffic is limited to about 5 trips maximum per day. They average 2 to 3. We have shown just schematically 7 loading docks. I don't know if you would actually build all 7. Probably not. We just did that as part of the spec building here to show that that was what we could fit there. There'll be architectural drawings that'll be prepared. The applicant's considering felons or engineering for preparation of the building plans, mechanicals, so forth. The other question was, there was a question regarding hazardous materials. There is spent product that, as part of the printing process, that will need to be stored on site. There'll be a fireproof room within the building that'll need to be constructed to your city's codes. I did reach out to Theron regarding a meeting. Unfortunately, he's away, I guess, till the 25th. So we will set that up as soon as he gets back to go over that with him. We had reviewed this plan in detail with him as part of the site plan approval for the property. I think that's my overall summary. I'd be glad to answer anything that you specifically have questions for, and so will the owners as well. They're here to answer any questions you may have.
You have enough parking?
Yes, yep. The 100 employees is over 2 shifts, so that's 50 peak. We have 141 parking spots on the site.
Before you had other people using it, are they going to be out totally, so only be the new purchaser there?
No, they're going to maintain, right, the existing businesses there as it is today. Yep.
And how many parking
So-
spots do they take?
Not that many. I don't know what the total number is. There's very few that are currently there. We had done a calculation on the plan for the entire facility, including the existing uses, and that remains consistent. There was the use of that parking lot too by with Popcorners originally, so that lease will need to be terminated for this property. There is an adjoining property as well that they park on, but as it applies to this property, would have to be terminated prior to construction of the facility.
And when is that lease up?
I think it was, they had a month to month, last I knew, yeah, month to month still, so.
And you mentioned the air purifier. Does that have a separate generator on that? So if the power goes out?
Now, if the power goes out, the facility will shut down, so there wouldn't be any process going on, so there wouldn't be any need for it. You wouldn't be doing they wouldn't be doing a generator for the whole facility. So once the process shuts down, the need for the air purifier would no longer be there.
But I guess anything that was trapped in there when it shuts down, wouldn't that be released then?
No, the
Because
fans
it's
would
not-
shut, it would just be trapped there until it started again.
Okay.
Yep.
How many parking spots did you say you had?
141, I think it is.
141?
Yep. Yes, 141.
It's 72,000 square feet that you're using for your gross
Correct.
calculation? It's close.
What do you come up with?
I came up with 180, but.
Required?
Yeah, but there's also a stipulation in the code calling for either 400 square feet or one space for 2 workers.
2 workers,
So
correct.
he would have more than enough for that, 2 workers. You said 50, right,
Correct.
total? Both shifts?
50 per shift.
Per shift, so, well, that's okay.
It's probably the day shift, I imagine, is higher because you're going to have staff that are there, office staff and so forth, and then the evening
But
shift.
there'd be
will be low.
no more than 50 there at a time,
Correct.
so he would more than meet that. Yeah, okay.
You have a spot marked for a 30,000 gallon underground propane tank?
Yeah, it's
Then
existing.
adjacent to that, a enclosure for empty propane tank storage. So you're gonna have a 30,000 gallon container or tank underground. What's the storage?
Empty propane cylinders, basically. That's an existing business there, that's
not
already
part of
operating.
this.
That's not part of this, that's current, not proposed to be new.
Do they plan on remaining in business?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So they're gonna be in operation while you're in operation? Okay.
And the thermal oxidizer location, I see it's pretty close to an office building and parking and stuff like that. That's all, can you just explain what that's gonna be combined?
Yeah, I have a
with?
picture, if you'd like to, I can hand it out. I think that's probably the biggest question.
Thank you. They didn't give you one.
He said he was going to do the board first.
Oh, okay. I had to deny him just on the fact that he didn't give you one. It's pretty common crap. Now, this is going to be located on the street side of the building?
No, it's that square.
Yes, the proposal was to put it on the street side of the building to keep it as far from the residential neighborhood as possible. I think that was, we could screen it more easily at the rear, but we thought that, keeping it as far away from the public as possible was probably the best route. We can certainly screen this thing. It's obviously not the most attractive thing, but Industrial Place is a very industrial street. Loading docks across the street from us, so forth. So this shows a fence around it. We could have a fence with privacy slats around it to screen it. We could also use, the building will probably have metal siding. We could use the metal siding that would match the building to screen it so that it could be consistent.
I think that might be nice to kind of screen it somewhat so that it looks like part of the building rather than just something stuck on it.
Yep, understood.
How high is the fence there?
That's what I was gonna ask.
In this picture, I think it's 8 foot high. You can see this commercial air conditioner right in the bottom of the picture to give you an idea.
It's an 8-foot high fence?
8
Yep.
foot high.
Okay. That's legal
Yeah.
for an industrial zone. Yeah, if you could make it look like something like out of siding, like it looked like the building,
Yep.
that would probably be nice. If you did that, could he go higher than 8 feet?
And you don't see it as an issue, but
Fence
it's right
bars?
by the office
If you
the
made it
office
look like part
building
of the
that's
building
there,
you're using.
right? The two-story
no,
office
we don't-
building That's gonna be offices.
Nope, don't see that as an issue.
All right. I see the entrance here is 30 feet and it's going in and out. Is that gonna be wide enough for 2 tractor trailers to get in and one to come out?
Yes, yep,
Well,
that has not changed. That was
that's the only way they're gonna be coming in and out, I'm assuming.
correct.
right? Yeah,
Yep,
'cause the
they'll have
others
be able to
are-
enter there. We provided access around the entire building as far as fire apparatus access. But truck traffic would only be entering in, I guess, what is the southern entrance here off of Industrial Place. They can go in, back in, and come back out that.
Is there an interior traffic flow?
Yeah, it's 2 ways actually all the way around the building. So they could enter, but it just wouldn't make any sense. If somebody takes a wrong turn and comes in the wrong entrance and doesn't read the right sign, they certainly could get all the way around the building.
But the workers would come in, park, and then go around the building to leave?
Yeah, that would be at the north entrance. Yep. So everybody, I envision it, with all the workers, staff, personnel would come in the north entrance, use that parking area, exit back out the north entrance. There's no reason for them to have to go through what it would be the service entrance or for the trucks and so forth.
Will there be signage up directing the flow?
Certainly can add it, yep.
Suggested you do. Mr. Zarowski, do you see anything that stands out?
Well, there were a number of comments from the original approval that still need to be addressed. The
Okay.
conditional approval,
Okay.
that I guess would move forward to this thing. And then there were some county comments that probably should be discussed,
Okay.
that were mandated. One being solar panels on the roof being a mandate, and then the other being the dark sky lighting mandate, which I'm not sure how that falls under county purview, but if you don't choose to go that way, you would need a supermajority vote to override them.
We
So,
take.
John,
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Numcheck.
this has to go to the county too, right? County planning? for
The
approval?
original one went to the county, the previous approval. This is a change of use, so it probably needs to go back to the county, so we'll just wait to get these comments again, I guess.
And you're comfortable with the secret, I saw the secret, that's a short form or the long form?
They did the short form. I mean, it was already, we've already approved it. Jeff had looked at it and was comfortable with it. I didn't see anything that jumped out at me. Again, the only thing changing on the site is that unit up front, so everything else is consistent
Okay.
with the previous approval.
I mean, we take the Department of Planning, the county, as recommendations. And we pass them on to the developer as recommendations.
Yeah, the first two were mandated, so
I don't see how they can do that, but.
I question that myself.
Yeah.
I've encountered this a few times, and I don't know how that falls under, but we won't go there.
No, not yet. Not
We,
yet.
we would respectfully request, if it does go to go back to the county, there's a 30-day time frame for that, so as soon as you could get it out, we would appreciate it.
We can do that.
Thank you.
I have a question, but I didn't know if it was.
No, go ahead.
So I was reviewing just the type of environmental permits that would be required for a project such as this. And one of the issues that comes up sometimes is recyclable salvage. Will you have a lot of waste that has to be removed from the property that's going to be trucked in and out?
Come on up.
Hi, Ezra Levowitz. We have some solvent from the inks we use that we recook. That's why we need that fireproof room, and we recycle them in-house. But after, in every drum that we recycle, there's some excess that we can't use. So once a month, we have to send out usually 4 drums to 6 drums, and we have to file it with the DEC, and that's the solvent that we
As far as
send out.
you were talking more specifically about
Like wasted, well, no, that's a good that you covered that. I was also wondering about the
Plastics or-
solids, yeah.
No, we don't.
No solids,
Just
okay.
regular waste, the cardboard or plastic, we recycle them, we compact it. If we have any waste, then we sell them actually. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
not like
So-
we have any waste.
That's what I was trying to ask about. Will there be a large number of trucks that come in and out to take out the waste or the compacted salvage materials?
Right now, we have, it's more.
once a week, twice a week.
The recycled plastic once a month, because they
Okay.
only want to pick up a trailer at a time, so it's once a
Okay.
month.
Thank you.
All right.
So it looks like you and our engineer need to get together.
Yep.
and Resolve any outstanding items. Ms. Tu will contact the county, send it out for their recommendations, and then we'll have a debate about mandates.
And then I think Theron still needs to meet with Ross.
Yeah,
Yes. I
I
think he
sent
said
him an
that, yeah.
email and saw he's not back till 25th, so
Yeah, it'll be close.
it'll be close. We would respectfully request, if you think it's appropriate, a public hearing be set for the August meeting.
Soon as we get everything all together.
Okay.
We have time.
Very good.
But we understand you want us to expedite it. We get it.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments for Mr. Winglets? Or his, or the owners? Did you mention that they already have a plant already?
They already have a facility in Long Island, yes,
Right.
existing and
Is this the same size as the one in Long Island?
How many, no, this is larger, right? Yeah.
We're in
But-
we're in 2 buildings, currently in 2 buildings, 50,000 square feet. There's going to be 72, so we'll be able to be in one
Currently in
building.
2 buildings totaling 50,000, so this will allow them to combine their operations into one building and give them some room for expansion to 7.
So you're relocating from, or are you keeping that one open?
Relocated.
Relocating.
Your other business or your other location makes plastic bags. Is that what you're going to continue making?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
We don't
So-
make the plastic, we just
Just
cut
make
it.
the
Print on the
bags.
bags, yeah.
Print and cut them into bags.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night, thanks.
Okay, next is Sen Wang, 33 to 39 Fulton Street, offices, gym, cafe.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Jonathan Lee. I'm representing a company called Ganjing World. It's a high-tech IT company. Most of the members, the workers, it's mostly, I think it's online. But they were looking in California, but they decided to make this building as their home headquarter office here in the Middletown. I'm not sure you got the plans.
We did.
The Shenyun creation, this is, I know we have to go through architectural review board for the design, and the Shenyun creation is one of the brands for promotion. Shenyun is, I don't know if you guys are aware, the Shenyun is the traditional Chinese performing arts that's going all over the world. So the building is a high-tech company, and they are in the process of transferring the title to the Ganjin World, which is the parent company for all the other brands. The planning, they're coming to planning board mainly to do two things. One is they want to enclose the first ground floor into, since it's a high-tech company, they want to have a cafeteria only for internal members only, the workers in the building. And also they wanted to make a meditation room and exercise room on the first floor. There's also a reception on the first floor. And also they want to change the the second floor. If you call the first floor ground floor, the first floor they want to keep the intact as the same layout, and the third floor they want to keep the same layout. They want to change the second floor, and also they want to enclose the first floor. So we have some pictures here. The first one is it's going to be going through the architectural review board, making sure that's all correct. And the second page is the same thing. The third page is this is drawn by the architect, the New York's licensed architect. He's in the back. And if you have questions, anything technical, I probably would be referring to him to answer it. They currently have about more than 100 parking space. So after inclusion, they would have 97, including 4 handicap. And they're going to be marked on the floor which direction the traffic should be going. And the third, I think the third page is the overall from the top going down the Fulton Street, the Canal Street. And then the next page is the existing ground floor. So now it's parking, and you go upstairs on the elevator in the middle. The next page is the plan for the future, which is, if you're looking at the page on the left side, there will be, I think, how many, maybe 13 tables, and they will have a range at the back and kitchen entrance at the back. And on the some cafe lounge in the front, and then on the right side will be a meditation room and gym. And then at the back of it, it will be mostly machines for jogging and so on, and bathrooms for that.
What page are you?
I'm looking at the proposed ground floor plan that's written on the side. It's the
Jonathan, on the lower right is the sheet number. It's A102, right?
Yes.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah, 102. That's the proposed plan for the ground floor. It's totally internal use, So they're not going to be open to public, and there will be a lobby as well. The next page is going to be the the second floor. So if you count the ground floor, the first floor they're going to keep as is, as an office. And the third floor, they're going to keep the same thing as an existing office. And they will change these, the second floor, the second floor. And they have shown the existing plan, second floor. This is 201, A201. This is existing. And the next page is proposed second floor plan. There's more cubicles, especially on the right side. Okay, in terms of number of people, because existing, they currently have about 40 some people. Mostly, I think it's online and work from home. A lot of people are going to be like that. And there will be expansions. There will be more people. But IT companies, pretty much people, a lot of them work from home. It will be people from West Coast, East Coast, even international people work from there. So I think it's this first IT company which really make Middletown their home, and this is a great location for them. They really are looking forward to being here. Questions?
I know there are some structural issues, I guess you're going to address? Your engineer has to address?
Yes.
Anything, those plans, we need our engineer to look
Okay.
at those also? Share
Sure.
those? They have some structural repairs they have to do on the project. Also, I know from experience that, I take it your structural engineer is doing a survey of the entire building?
Right.
Because you know that some brick have fallen off the building at one time or another.
Yeah, it's so far before I'm the realtor who sold the building to a company, and they are transferring the title to them, sell it to them. Before we bought the building, we had the structural engineer review the place. They had been done a lot. Our structural engineer has seen this whole thing and want to make sure everything is solid.
Good. All right. Anything that the gentleman has found, just share with our engineer, please.
Well, one of the things that they wanted to do is the columns.
Yep.
They want to make sure it's solid.
Yes.
So far, from what he wants to take all the plasters outside a little bit, but he already did that.
Okay.
So it looks good. It looks like very solid. Some of them has to be repainted and make sure that it's going to be enclosed properly, so nothing is going to.
But your engineer has shown a detail on how to reinforce
Right.
that steel because it has rusted.
Right.
That's what we need you to share with our engineer.
Sure.
Okay.
We'll get a plan for you.
Okay. Also, I guess you were advised to have a property survey?
Yeah, it's in the process of being done.
Okay.
Right.
And of course, anything else that the property needs, the timber walls, the timber retaining walls, I guess are failing. Just so you know, just some general stuff. It's a preliminary meeting. We're just sharing thoughts with you.
Right.
And also the condition of the fence in the rear of the property. So you'll have some just TLC work to do by the sounds of it. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if the board has any other questions. We kind of have an issue that we have to discuss, but go ahead.
I was just curious, what industry does your IT serve?
It's internet.
No, I know that, but what, like life sciences
Oh,
or
it covers everything.
performing arts,
News,
news?
science, I guess. Yeah, please.
So, yeah, my name is Jim Zhang, CEO of the company Ganji World. We are new to Middletown. So basically, we are doing a platform like YouTube, and we have the news as well. if you think YouTube platform, it's us.
Okay.
Also, we wanted to make sure that it's ganji means clean. The other words, right now you go into internet, a lot of kids and family don't want the kids to be on there. Ganji means very clean so that the kids can go onto the website.
Nice. Do you have a question, or do you want me to bring up the issue?
Go ahead.
Okay. One thing that we have a question about, and you may not be able to answer, but we'll have to deal with, it's probably a city issue that we have to have a conversation about. And that's, since you are enclosing the ground floor, for argument's sake, it's now the first floor. So it should be for commercial use, that according to the DMU regulation or code, all right? So we're not sure if that's exactly the definition of a commercial space. We understand that you want to make a gym, meditation areas, cafeteria. Perfectly understood. We just want to make sure that it fits the definition of our code before we approve it. Or how do we get it to fit, or how do we get you to fit into the code?
Okay.
Okay? And that's going to be more or less an internal discussion with the city to see exactly how that is defined.
Sure.
Okay?
Somebody has to read the code. Maybe Rich, we can do that.
Well,
Thank you, Mr.
Sorry.
Don't tell him that. But no, it's we don't think it's a major issue, but it's an issue that we have to address as a board to make sure that we are approving it properly. That's all.
Got it.
Okay, we might have to go to the zoning board. We don't know how this is going to
For
exactly play
waivers.
out. Yep. All right. And that's the only real concern I think we have as a board, that we need to make sure that we have the commercial space where it belongs. Yes, Mr. Numchak.
The parking spaces, Jonathan, now that you're going to enclose the bottom and those parking spaces are gone, you said there is going to be enough?
97.
You said 97
Yeah. Plus, with 4 handicap.
for handicap? Is that enough? Meet
Yeah.
the code?
According to the code, the way I figure it, because they have a total of 27,585 square feet total in the whole building, correct? Thereabouts.
Right.
So if you use the office square footage at 300 square foot, because they are offices, it's mixed use, but it's offices, they would need like 92 spaces, 91 to 92 spaces. So
there's
he would still, and then, not that we have to, but being in the DMU zone, we could waive the parking anyway, but may not be a necessity to waive parking for this applicant because he has the parking.
Also, a lot of workers who are going to be present here is buying houses around the area, so most likely bicycles or walking.
That's great. So, yeah, it's a nice project. We just have to make sure we do the right thing. Yep. You have another comment?
Jonathan, the sidewalks that are around on the streets and stuff, some of them are in bad condition. Are they going to be looking at those to fix them? I know some of them are like dirt.
Oh, really? Which side
On
is
the
this?
corner of Canal Street and Fulton, or on that one corner. Just may want to take a look at that.
Okay. Well, we'll take a look.
John, does this trigger, if they do the first floor, does this trigger SECRA?
Probably, we need to talk about that a little bit more, because they're occupying the space. There's really very little environmental impact except for the use itself. We'll have to talk about that.
Okay.
That's for discussion. I'll have to think about that a little more.
We'll make sure that John gets a set of plans too, so he can start looking at what they propose to do.
And Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Is the dance troupe going in here, or IT?
IT. Dance troupe is not going to be here.
Okay.
It's too small.
I just have one quick question. So you mentioned about bicycles, so they're also going to put some plans for, having the bicycle
Racks or
You know,
something? Yeah,
yeah,
we can make that part of the plan.
I thought it was okay, yeah.
Just
clarify, John, you meant the sidewalks on Canal and Fulton? Because that, I believe, is part of the, what's going on throughout the city.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you
It's
about
the
that.
intersection, yeah.
Yeah, oh, great.
Yeah, I wasn't sure it included. That's good.
Nice to see that this spot is gonna have a little facelift and bring.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Bring,
It's gonna be nice.
bring a lot to the area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does the board have any other questions for Mr. Lee?
Are you doing facade work on this, or are you going to leave it the way
Yeah,
it is?
we're gonna have, going to architectural review board. It's gonna be a stack. We're finalizing that.
Okay.
Nice project. Good. Anybody, any other questions for Mr. Lee? Thank you, sir.
Can we go into planning board next week or next month?
Possibly.
Okay.
Not next week, though.
Not next week. We're not having one.
Everybody wants
Refuse.
off. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think I have to call for an adjournment. Ms. Witt, Ms. Houston, all in favor? Aye.